Morgen.
Leslie, this was your first big movie role. How was the experience, and will you repeat it?
Oh, I don't know if I'll get to repeat how magical this experience was, because it was the experience of a lifetime. We all felt that. And I knew that from the moment that it began. I knew I was being extremely spoiled, and that, at times I was experiencing something that a lot of people have waited for a long time to experience on a set. And so I was soaking it all up. I'm still soaking up every inch of this, every bit of this process. But it was beautiful, and it definitely set the bar of, at least in terms of connection with the people that I work with, whether it be music or another film or TV or whatever I do, that bar that, like, you should really put your whole heart and soul. When you put your whole heart and soul into something that you feel is important and that you feel is valuable in some kind of way, even if it's just entertainment, it doesn't have to be super deep. But when you're surrounded with people that feel that you're doing something that feels good and that is important, that you care about, magic happens. And that's what happened on that set. I'm so blessed that I got to experience that for my first little rodeo.
That sounds lovely. And Melissa, your role, Vanessa, at some point in the movie struggles a little bit with her own creativity. Did you ever encounter something similar?
Yeah, I feel like I've encountered like an inspiration block before in my life, and it's usually in periods where I'm feeling very frustrated or depressed or having lots of doubt of whether I'm on the right path or not. And I feel like she's so sure that when she gets out, she's gonna be happy and she's gonna have, everything is gonna be solved. And then when that happens, she moves and her inspiration is gone. She freaks out, because imagine working your whole life towards something and then it not being what you expected, which I think that happens when we place very high expectations on things. It's a recipe for heartbreak. And that happens to her, but it makes her realize that actually the place that she grew up in, with the people that she grew up around, are her biggest source of inspiration and are what makes her creative.
In dem Viertel geht man keine 2 Schritte, ohne auf jemanden zu treffen, der Großes vorhat.
I'm making moves, I'm making deals, but guess what? What? You still ain't got no skills.
Did you ever had that kind of connection to a place or to a district or something like that?
Oh, a connection to like a well, actually, the Heights. I lived in Washington Heights when I was when I went to school, so it's a little bit of a full circle. But I grew up in Washington D.C. in the United States Capitol, so that was my version of the Heights. You know, I'm not a part of the Latinx community, the Latino community, so as a Black man born in the States, descendant of slavery, you know, I feel very rooted to where my parents grew up in DC and the culture there and Black culture there. And we see eye to eye. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about going to New York and living in the Heights, was that it didn't feel that different from DC, from Washington, DC. So, you know, everybody's hood, it doesn't matter. Like even in Germany, are you German, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm in Germany right now. And I'm literally like, you know, it's the same, like, you know what I mean? In terms of like your connection, I see things that are similar to just where I grew up and how I grew up and people and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, so it's beautiful in that sense.